Welcome back to the 1111 podcast. I have a very special guest joining me now. So please, as always, I'm going to let your energy introduce yourself. So share anything you would like for us to know.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful intro, and thank you for having me and holding this space. My name's Marie Major. I'm a writer, teacher, diving all into the illusion of time and just always trying to bring it back to the energy of remembering. I'm big on starseed energy and just what we can do to help humanity and meditation and love. And that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Absolutely. I definitely encourage it, and we definitely need it right now. So,
Right?
we hear a
Exactly.
lot of times, we hear that phrase that time is an illusion. So before we even dive into breaking that down, what does time mean to you? How do you define time?
Yeah, so I like to say time is an illusion, but of course we are here on planet Earth where time is all around us. So I feel like the best way to look at it is as a tool, but also bringing it back and looking beyond and seeing that time is all happening in the now actually really gives us the permission to have a different relationship with time. So that's kind of what I was writing my book about. It's how to really look beyond the idea of time on planet Earth and how we can anchor back into the present moment. And really also understanding that the past and the future is all happening in the now. But we are so programmed to believe in the linear concept of time, and it's so hard for our human minds to wrap around
I think you cut out for a
that.
second.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, I think it's. Oh, I have to disconnect the microphone. Hear me now?
And just like that, we are having a temporary moment of technical difficulties.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That's
You hear
the.
me now?
I can, yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you can do it. Okay.
Yeah, so where was I? Just that time is an illusion, but how we can bring it back to understanding that it's all happening in the now. And I think the more we give ourselves the permission to view it like that, we are able to become creators of our life and really move from a place of love, unconditional love, because now we understand that the past, we can heal the past now, and we can also create the timelines that are happening in the now and bring them right now in the present.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we, like you mentioned, we've all been conditioned and kind of programmed with that logical, linear mindset. And I think it really filters into the whole patriarchal toxicity that we can see, like filtering throughout society. How would you explain bringing the now to someone who's maybe a more rational person who doesn't really understand that concept of how the past and the future can all simultaneously exist? What ways, either yourself or that you've seen other people that may be struggle with understanding that everything exists in the now, how would you help them ground into that principle?
That's a great question. Usually, I like to have people really this is the thing. Every soul's like on a journey. So I used to have this problem years ago where I would push this energy work, this healing on people when they weren't ready. And everybody has a certain timeline, and everybody's not going to receive that in that moment of time. And everyone's not going to see things the same way. And that's the beautiful thing about this planet is the diversity of that energy. And we get to kind of choose and where we're going to put our energy and what we want to feel and the emotions. So not everybody is at that point, but I think the more people understand that, it really gives an understanding and also empathy around humanity, that everybody's on a different journey, different timeline, but how can I show up in the collective to help heal? And I really think that always starts from within. It's going to the core. And the more we kind of inspire or influence people to do that work, the best way is to do that work ourselves. Because by teaching by action instead of words is so powerful. So when someone is aligning with their own energy and tuning to that, and then also tuning to the vibration and the frequency of unconditional love, that's going to affect, it's like ripples happening, waves happening in the collective. And that's going to inspire and influence others. And then people are going to start doing the inner work themselves. But there are a lot of people who are in a place where they are hiding behind, or let's say masking is maybe a word, or even kind of escaping from the work that needs to be done. And it's kind of that soul's decision. This is where free will comes into place, if they want to do the work this lifetime or not. But my goal and my hope is the more we inspire and do the work ourselves, this is going to help the collective. And I think, even though it's so contrasting right now, I believe we are moving back and returning to this energy, and we are going to get there at one point.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I love that it's you bring in that energy of acceptance. You know, accepting where you are on the journey is part of living in that now. It's being able to say, if there's any resistance to receiving a message, to not force it, but to just accept right where you are, right in the now. And that's exactly how you bring those timelines into the now.
Right.
And then when you hear that concept, that word, that time is an illusion, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, I like to say time is an illusion because I like to connect with just the universe, source, creator. And in that energy, in that realm or dimension, you can call it, time does not exist. So everything is eternal. So that's why I like to say time is an illusion. But that's also why I say, though we are living a human experience and we are around time. Like a lot of us are looking at the clocks, we have to time ourselves. Like we're planning things, we're on a calendar. But I also really think returning back to the nature of time is really important. So how the moon, the stars, the sun is moving, how our planets are moving, going into like a different calendar, like the 13 moon calendar, or using like the equinox, like spring as the new year, or July as the new year, where the star Sirius comes about. And like all of that are kind of tools that we can use to really help us have a relationship with time.
Yeah,
I hope that
exactly.
answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It did. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because a lot of these things are very like man-made things that we've,
Yeah.
adopted to. But it's really about following your own intuition and following your rhythms that connect to the energy of the universe. Because we
Hmm.
all have that rhythm. And
Hmm.
I can't remember exactly who said it, but I think it might have been Jim Carrey actually, who said, like, his quote about depression, for example. He said, "Is your avatar is just tired of playing this role, you
Hmm.
know?" And so a lot of times it's your body going into this natural hibernation, a
Hmm.
natural rhythm of we need to recalibrate, we need a break, And
Yes.
naturally, when it's time for that break to end, I think it naturally does. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, I like that. Yeah, time in the overall sense is an illusion. And I also think that, like you said, in this 3D physical world, we do have those responsibilities, those grounding things that we have to manage and take care of. And I
Hmm.
think that's part of the whole spiritual journey is to find that connecting force between these things that are illusions, like separation being an illusion, time being
Yes.
an illusion,
Yes.
and also connecting those energies of like the physical with the spiritual,
Hmm.
the divine masculine and the divine feminine within ourselves, connecting that unity within ourselves so that is reflected outwardly. So, what would you say to those who, you know, will say, "Oh, this is the worst time in history. We're experiencing troubled times right now," and people who are experiencing a lot of pain and suffering right now, um, what would you say to help them see their timelines? Because I think a lot of times we can go into this like positive focus, but it's like, what do you do when the actual experience of what you're experiencing in this moment is incredibly painful? What would you say to those who are experiencing that in the now moment?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question. And everything you said before that was just so beautiful, I have to say. Um, yeah, this is like, it's a tough, tough answer. And it's, it's difficult because a lot of people are experiencing such difficult times on planet Earth. Like, there's so much happening. And a lot of times I like to address it in a way where, or I believe or want to think that I believe a lot of souls enter planet Earth for the help and the guidance and the awakening of humanity. And I know that's difficult to say or for someone to hear when they are going through difficult times. But I feel like the best advice I can give when someone's experiencing challenges is to try their very best to find something that lights them up, that brings them happiness, and to move with that energy to build that new momentum. And once you do that, begin to learn your kind of your soul work. So that you can do that through meditations, dream states, energy work, opening your Akashic records. I think a lot of people don't understand that there's so much like lineage and ancestral healing that needs to be done. And not just in a collective form, but within yourself. Like kind of how I just said, it starts within.
Hmm.
So you can't save the planet if you're not loving yourself, if you are not giving that love to yourself, to your family, to the people around you. So you have to build it kind of brick by brick. And it's also understanding that we are in a contrasting time, but for the greater good. And yeah, a lot of people sometimes will want to say, no, you're like that's just like not right and this and that. And I understand their viewpoints, but I like to really think that we are going through contrasting experiences to raise the vibration of this collective. Just like how I believe we're returning, I believe time is a spiral and we're returning back into Atlantean and Lemurian times. So that's where like a lot of people have a lot of fear or questions around AI, but I believe during Atlantean and Lemurian times, that was where technology was the most advanced. The doctors were healers with healing with their hands. Everyone had this power. Everyone had psychic abilities. Just like on planet Earth, everyone does, but people are pinching themselves off from that. They're not opening themselves up to their abilities or their powers. And this is where like the whole idea of like where does negative energy or evilness come into play? Well, these are certain souls that have no one separate from their from source, from that their their star soul family, but they can really go off course. And this is where that you see that energy forming, that contrasting ego, divide, manipulation, hate, fear. That's where the energy is going. But the soul has a choice to return back and to understand their true energy, which is unconditional love, which I believe we all have that. But yeah, it's that I know I kind of went off, but it's
No,
just
that was
a
perfect.
difficult question to answer. Like, it's such a good
Yeah,
question, but it's hard because it is like you can't really tell that to someone who is losing everything right now. Like it's a difficult thing, and I have like respect and love, and I don't mean to sound, like not sensitive to what's happening, but I do believe, and this is an interesting thing because I just had a conversation with someone who told me they believe karma is where souls are entering into war zone areas because they did something bad in a past life, which I believe it's different. I believe a soul is volunteering themselves to experiencing this very painful, contrasting timeline for the greater good of humanity. That's
yeah,
really what I believe. And I'm wondering like what your thoughts are on that. I'm curious,
yeah,
but
of course.
kind of how I
Well,
see it.
I want to thank you for the way you answered that. I thought you answered it very well, and
Thank
I'm very
you.
humbled by your answer too, because it's that greater, the seeing the bigger picture of why we're here,
Mm-hmm.
and that our souls have pre-planned certain things for us to experience, to
Mm-hmm.
gain that knowledge, to gain that wisdom, and to gain the human experience that we signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to believe more like I align more with what you're saying. I I don't see karma as a punishment. I see karma
Mm-hmm.
as there are lessons that may not have been mastered in a previous time, and so we're
Mm-hmm.
giving another opportunity to master them. And I also do second what you said of certain souls do volunteer to experience horrific things so that they can bring the light and the wisdom and the medicine that is in the pain
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm. No,
So
that's
I definitely align more with that. I think that that is one can be a very limited way of viewing karma as just a
Mhm.
way to get back at someone or you're being punished. I don't think the universe operates in punishment.
Exactly.
I think it's all about the choices that we make. It's not about punishment or reward. It's about the choices you make. They line up to certain experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's a beautiful reminder for myself, because I've been feeling all this tension and all this anger and all this energy. And so it's humbling to be reminded of transmuting that energy. And again, I don't think emotions are bad or wrong. I think they're information. So our
Yeah.
emotions are always telling us and guiding us to a larger picture of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to be upset about. And
Yes.
that's not wrong in itself. It's how do we use the energy? How do
Exactly.
we move through those emotions?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you brought it back, because I actually saw this quote that says, "The future has an ancient heart."
Mm. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do feel like you and a lot of other people resonate with understanding that we are moving to a time that we've moved away from,
Yes.
essentially.
Ooh, I just
And
got goosebumps. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we're
Mm-hmm.
remembering our divinity, we're remembering our uniqueness and all of those things that we are that have been attempted to be stripped away from us and gaslit to us and all of these other things. But
Mm-hmm.
we're remembering that and waking up to that. And you mentioned like Atlantis and the Lemurians, and You also mentioned resonating with the star seeds. I did like an entire series on star seeds. So now
Oh,
I'm curious, which
oh, I'm
star seed,
excited.
which star seed cluster, I guess, do you feel you resonate with the most? And I know that you've probably experienced more than one star seed incarnation, but which ones do you feel resonate the most?
Yeah, I love them all. But right now I'm really tapping in and working with the Pleiadians. And then
Mm,
also I really bring in my like Lemurian lifetime, or lifetimes in Lemuria. I've really been trying to anchor into that energy. It comes up a lot. And then also my Lyran, which is, yeah, which is such a powerful one. Like it's, yeah. And then also the Syrians, I love to connect with that energy, which I feel Lemuria holds a lot of that, with the dolphin frequency and
mm,
that kind of oceanic like energy. But yeah, that's really, but a lot of really, I feel like the Palladians have been coming in just like a lot for me. And yeah, I'm curious, like, what about for you?
yeah.
Mind me
Well,
asking.
no, no, ask away. I resonate. The one that I feel is home base for me is one of the more rare ones, which would be the Rocancrean star seeds.
Ooh, okay, I love
Yeah,
that. I
but
can
I
see that.
feel, yeah, yeah. I feel that I've been connecting. I feel that this is my interpretation. I was raised around a lot of reptilian energies,
Mm,
so I understand a lot of that perspective and energy,
mhm,
and a lot of the shadow and light that they exhibit. Um,
mhm,
but I've also been working with the Greys. I don't know exactly. I think that's their nickname, but I've been
mm,
working with feeling the energy of the Greys.
mm,
I have to look up which actual starseed it is, but that's kind of like their nickname.
mm,
And they can be a little bit mischievous. They have like two energies to them. They have a
mm.
benevolent energy that's very pure, but then they also have like a very mischievous. I think of them like the best example I could think of would be like if you've ever seen the movie The Gremlins. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like
Okay. Yes.
there's
Yeah.
sweet ones and then there's kind of these rambunctious ones. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Love that.
yeah. And then I want to get into this beautiful, beautiful masterpiece of a book that you've written. Now, I know that you've written a few, but I want to talk about this one here. So, this is Looking Beyond the Tides of Time. And I want to show the audience so they can make sure they look this up. And I would definitely recommend reading it. I'm on my second read through of it, so I really think you did an amazing job on this book.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. But tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write this particular book at this particular time.
Yeah, that's a good question. It I had it actually like I wrote it, I believe, a few years ago. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but just kind of divine timing, life happens, and I just didn't have the time to kind of really get it self-published or just have it all together. And I launched it last year, and I feel like that was divine timing. Was it? Yes, it was last year. I'm like, what year are we in?
Right.
And this is where time is an illusion. But yes, I believe like it was just the right timing, the right energy. I think people maybe are ready to receive this material. I, I really think so. And I think more and more people are like opening up to this energy, just like star seeds, Atlantis times. Like, I hear like even like my family members, my parents, I can see them like opening up to like the idea of like Atlantean times and just their past lives and like what energy am I holding? Like what am I dreaming? What's coming up? So I really feel like this is just something that I think the planet is ready for, but I also feel like it's an easy read. It helps people like kind of get into like a simple idea about what it is and how they can like use tools and just kind of just have a different relationship with time to just reprogram that subconscious mind where we don't see time as a linear way and we actually begin to see it as the spiral. Um, I used to always say the circle, but now I've kind of feel like I've expanded and evolved, which I do. I still see like circle, like I love the whole thing, circle of life, but
Hmm.
I do believe time is a spiral and it goes in and out and it just moves and now I'm even seeing it more like an ocean. That is how time is, and each soul's like a little wave and we're never separate from the ocean. And that's the biggest, false belief or illusion we've been fed is separation because nothing is separate. We are all connected. And I feel like the more I step into my energy work, into my meditation, into this practice, it's showing me just how everything is connected, which is so beautiful. And I think people need to lead with that we are all connected with one another. And that's like so powerful. And I think will help heal not just themselves, but just everything and the relationships with others and the energy and the diversity on this planet is is just going to help bring it back to that idea of unconditional love.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's what unites us all is that unconditional love. And yeah, it's the healing of the planet, the healing of ourselves, the healing of each other. It's all connected. And I also think that healing goes in a spiral as well because we come back to those places that we've either thought we've healed or we're getting another perspective on it or
Mhm.
we're going into a deeper layer of this thing that we're healing. And so as time bends and moves, so does our perception, so does our expansion and contrasting energies.
Mhm.
They're all fluid, like you said, like the ocean. They're very fluid
Mhm.
um, in the sense that they're not these binary boxes that just get checked off.
Yes.
They loop around, they integrate more, and
Yes.
they anchor and continue and they continue to start that all over again. So it is like a circle because it starts over, you know.
Yes.
So we just finished, or we're still kind of in the midst of this while we're recording this, but we are finishing up the year of the snake, which
Mhm.
has been a very intense,
Oh, horrible.
grueling, just everything. I have so much more appreciation for the snakes now. Like, we go through so much. So, this has been, the tail end has been kind of literally whipping my ass a little bit. So, it's definitely been a lot coming up.
Yeah.
And we are also moving into the energy of the fire horse,
Yeah.
into the energy of Aquarius. And
Yeah.
I wanted to hear your perspective on, since we're talking about time and everything, I want to hear your perspective on this upcoming year and just the energy of what do you feel this timeline is asking of us?
Yeah. Well, yeah, as you know, the snake was a lot of shedding. It was, I think it brought up a lot of just healing work, the shadow work that always needs to be done because that's the best work. And
Hmm.
it brought up a lot of, I think, for people, just health concerns. I heard a lot of, just a lot of also like inner battles.
Yeah.
So that was happening. A lot of, yeah, I feel like personally too, it was not a great year, but I appreciate the year because I grew, I expanded, I evolved, and it brought me to a place of exactly what, how you said it, appreciation, love, returning back. And with the fire horse that's coming in February, it's, the horse just holds an energy of just such freedom and momentum. And with the age of Aquarius too, just everything's going to be speeding up, which is connected to the fire horse too. And a lot of people also say it's very like just about self and about identity, which I do believe it is. But when I tap in and I channel and do my meditation, I really receive the messages of coming back together. It's just kind of what you said, like bringing back the oneness, the togetherness, and it's not just about self. It is about service to others, which I like to say the STO versus STS, which is service to self versus service to others, and returning back into that energy of, okay, not just filling my cup, but how can I fill everybody else's cup around me? And I feel like a lot of last year, I heard a lot of people being like stepping into like, no more like playing nice, like I know my boundaries, which is good. And I'm glad people stepped into that energy. But I think we need to go beyond and take it into a place where, okay, but how can I act from peace, love, ease, from alignment? How can I let that energy flow? And with also Neptune is moving into Aries tomorrow on January 26th for 14 years, which it was in Pisces, which I believe it did not like to be in Pisces. So it just was, I think just the energies clashed, and with Neptune, I'm really excited about this, but it is going to bring to me, yes, a lot of energy where there might be some more contrasting moments through humanity, through personal lives, but it's going to bring people to begin to do the work. It is going to actually bring that energy, that frequency where people now have no choice but to look at themselves, to look within. And that's kind of the energy that I'm really excited with Neptune, because I feel like Neptune is very much there for us. So I invite people to just ask and work with Neptune, work with all the planets, I think is an important thing. But just Neptune, if you just even ask for Neptune to be on your side, Neptune's going to be on your side. But you have to set that intention. You have to acknowledge it. It's just kind of bringing it back to ancestral healing. Like, acknowledge your ancestors, give them the love that they deserve. Just like giving offerings to Mother Gaia, doing those little rituals will really help actually the universe shining a light and being there for you. Like, everyone, I feel like, feels like, oh, things are against me, or the universe is not there for me. But it is. It is if you ask it. And setting that intention, but you also have to give it, some gifts, not the universe, but like the things in the universe itself. Just like the animal kingdom, are we bowing down to animals and nature? That like they know more than us humans. And I know that doesn't really sit well with a lot of humans, and I rub a lot of people the wrong way when I say that, but I believe that they hold the actual power and they are our greatest teachers. And the more we can step into that energy, think of how powerful that is. So it's about giving those little offerings, just acknowledging things, the ancestors, the moon, the sun, the stars, the planets. It's going to really help just allow you as an individual to really flow through your spiral, through this timeline. And that's kind of how you bridge timelines. It's now you're walking over that bridge instead of the energy of fear, but you're with now moving it along that bridge with the energy of love. So you're crossing that timeline now with love. And that's how also quantum jumping, leaping, it's just shifting your perspective pretty much. But a lot of people, it's a difficult thing when we've been taught, programmed, raised, conditioned to shift that quickly into that energy. But the more you allow yourself to return to that energy, the quicker the momentum can build. And in the universe, there is no such thing as time. So then once you shift, it can be instant. So with this year, sorry for such a long answer, but yeah, with this year, I'm really positive, and I think a lot of people who have been doing the work are going to see such huge improvements in their life, such growth, such expansion, such love. They're going to see things opening all around them. But the people who aren't doing the work, unfortunately, I think it's going to be some contrasting moments that are going to keep just being shown that they need to do the work. So that's just going to be more contrasting moments. And then with the collective, I believe a lot of structures that were running from a place of manipulation and power and ego, they're going to collapse. I really believe a lot of even religions, even spiritual structures that weren't built because Neptune and Pisces the last 10 years, there was a lot of fakeness, a lot of just people not really speaking from authentic voice or their truth. It was more, okay, what am I going to get from this
Yes.
energy? So now we're going to really see where people are going to realize and be able to see what's authentic and what's not.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. No,
Long answer, sorry.
long answers are welcome here. So that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
And there's so much, even just to unpack, because like you had initially mentioned, that people who were, as we are leaving the era of the snake,
Mm-hmm.
we had mentioned health ailments coming up. And it
Mm-hmm.
had just reminded me of the medicine staff with the snake wrapped around it
Mm.
for the healing.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
was like, wow, okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know
Oh,
that.
I didn't even think, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I think you hit it on the head because a lot of these energies are shifting. And I also love how knowledgeable you are about the planetary shifts and understanding that. I do think the more that we know and understand, you can work with these energies, um, the more we can opt into that growth mindset, into that mindset that is able to bring things into the now. Because
Mm-hmm.
I feel that a lot of times when people may feel the universe is against them, they
Yeah.
are can be operating from that lack or that victim mindset instead of
Yeah.
seeing how everything works together.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people who aren't doing the work are serving a purpose,
Yes.
and it all has meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never trivial or for without a cause or without a purpose. And the one thing that we have control over is how we choose to interpret these events and these
Exactly.
things that happen. And I follow different people who are in very traumatic situations and tragic places all over the world.
Mhm.
And I've noticed the ones who persevered through those situations, how their attitude is very different than
Mhm.
those that might even be around them.
Yes.
And so there's a quote that says, attitude is a small thing that makes a big difference. And it really does.
Yeah.
And, this year I do feel that energy of that fire. And also, like you said, I do feel that this is the year of community.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that those who have been in hibernation and hermit mode like myself, I think are going to be coming out and collaborating more. And I do feel like tribes are going to be coming together. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, the wise elders, like you mentioned, the ancestors, before they return to the ancestral plane, the wise
Yeah.
elders will be able to step back into their power
Yes.
and to know that they are vital and they hold essential knowledge that only
Mm-hmm.
they have from previous
Yeah.
generations
Yes.
and are willing to impart that to those who are willing to listen. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I totally agree. Asking for the universe, you know, being open to the way the universe can intervene and allowing that permission to guide us is extremely important.
Hmm.
Um, Now, before we wrap up, I do want to just give you an opportunity to share um, any last thoughts you might have, and then also where we can find you, how can we connect with you, where can we get your book. Just let
Yeah.
us know how we can connect and move forward with you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for holding this space. And yes, and your energy is amazing. So thank you. And I love this connection. And I love that, like, the universe is just, yeah, just matched us together. But where you can find me, my website is mariemajor.love, and my books are all on Amazon. I have three children books on meditation and well-being, and love. And then I have two books on that are kind of like self-help books, Looking Beyond the What Is and Looking Beyond the Tides of Time, which is my current book, that we were speaking about. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is Marie underscore Major. And then my Instagram and TikTok are Marie Major underscore.
Very nice. Well, it's definitely an honor, and I am very grateful that the universe has aligned us. And
Yes.
again, everyone, this is Looking Beyond the Tides of Time by Marie Major. So make sure you get this book and support and connect with our special guest today. I'm so honored to have you here, and we will continue to connect and
Yes.
continue to look beyond the tides of time. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, be well, stay safe. Until next time.